49ers GM.
Okay, let's go. Well, we going to start off getting the cracking. I thought
Listen,
we was gonna go to your Cowboys first, but no, I
no,
know we the talk of the town.
no. I mean, we're gonna save America's team, for America. So,
Okay,
who should they take, man? Lance or Fields?
Fields.
Why?
Well, for one, he's more experienced. He's played in the big games in college. He has 22 starts,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been doing this 6 years, right? I believe in resume. He's been a
Yeah,
quarterback and a highly touted quarterback since he was 15, 16, maybe even earlier, I know him and Lawrence have been training with the same scouts or same coaches since they were middle school age.
yeah,
I believe in resume. I believe that, last year at 51 touchdowns, 3 picks. I believe in his leadership ability. When the Big
yeah.
Ten said we're not going to play football this year, he said, "Nah, we're gonna play." You know what I mean? He did that petition, put it
Yeah,
around, and did all that. And so that's just not a tangible. That's an intangible, you know. And
yeah.
so I just think with all he's shown is who he is as a man and how he's handled himself. I just think he's the pick for us. And I think it would be an indictment on Kyle Shanahan to not pick him.
Listen, I agree with you. Like with Fields, I don't want you to think that I don't like him. Trust me, I watched high school. Him and Trevor Lawrence been joined at the hip for
Right.
like since they were like in the 8th or 9th
Well,
grade.
that's another thing too. I didn't mention that. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because this is going to be another where Trevor Lawrence is the #1 pick and he's not looked at as being in Trevor Lawrence's class.
True. I like Lance better for the offense. I feel like you said, Fields may be better at the quarterback position right now, but I feel like Lance is the better fit for Kyle Shanahan. You look at RG3 when he was the Rookie of the Year in 2012, and I have some numbers here.
Well, let me ask you this. I think Justin Fields looks like a more refined passer than RG3.
Yeah, at this point, coming out, yeah, but the fact that Fields didn't run a West Coast offense in Ohio State, but North Dakota State did. They ran pretty much the same offense as your 49ers.
No question.
Yeah, like they pretty much like when you look at the offense, it's like bootleg, rollout.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right, so Jimmy G, the Super Bowl year that y'all went to the Super Bowl,
Right.
yeah, 27 touchdowns, 13 picks, right?
That's right.
3,000.
He should have had 8 more.
Maybe. 476 passing attempts. You know that ain't much.
No. Not
60,
in today's world.
69% completion percentage. Tre Lance, same year, the year he won the national championship, 28 touchdowns, 2,786 yards, 289 attempts, 66 completion percentage. Pretty much identical.
18 passing attempts a game.
Pretty much. And you know how y'all
Not pretty much. That's the stat.
Yeah. And then look, RG3 rookie year, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator.
Right.
He won Rookie of the Year that year. 5 interceptions, 393 attempts, 65 completion percentage, 3,200 yards. Like it's like pretty much all this. That's the only reason why I say Lance. I feel like Lance would be the pick. Like not saying that Fields isn't a beast because he is, but you know how Ohio State is. They throw the ball 40 times a game. The running back may have 75 to 80 yards.
Not really. Trey Sermon and J.K. Dobbins balled out the last 2 years.
They did.
I mean, Trey Sermon had set the record. He even had a game where he rushed for 300 yards, right?
Then look at Fields' passing. So he threw the ball. He had what, like 48 and 2, something like that.
Well, even the game against Clemson, he only had 28 pass attempts when he threw for that 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They throw for more big chunk plays at Ohio State. To your point, that's not the West Coast offense, right? But they ran the ball a lot when they needed to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said it's a pro offense, but it's just not the West Coast. Because
No, but Patrick Mahomes didn't run the West Coast in college. Texas Tech was bombs away you.
Run and shoot. That's pretty much all they
shoot. So for me, it's all how you look at it, right? I'm not anything, all the stats you're throwing are right. I'm not going to say that. For me, what I look at is your physical talent, your experience, what you're doing, and how can I fit that into my offense? Do I think Fields is versatile enough to go into a West Coast offense? Yes. Just like last year, I saw Joe Klatt, who I respect. He said that he don't think you should spend a first-round pick on Justin Herbert, who was the offensive rookie of the year this year. You know what I mean? Because you didn't see him do certain things in college. You know,
I feel like
he's a playmaker.
Yeah, I feel like when Justin Herbert, I told a friend of mine when he got drafted, I said he's going to be the rookie of the year. He was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Look who he has around him. He has Keenan Allen, Austin,
Hunter Henry."
Dude, this dude is gonna succeed. Like if he would have went
right
to the Bears or something, I would have been like, no, like he probably would have been. He'll be like Trubisky right now.
That's right.
Went to the Chargers, I was like, no, that's the perfect fit for him. Like all he has to do, Keenan Allen is probably a top 3, top 4 route runner in the NFL. Like, he always open.
Right, he is. If he was healthy, he would be spoke of higher than what he is. He's had a lot of injury issues, and I know Keenan Allen because he's from hometown. He's from Greensboro. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, whenever
he's a baller.
Keenan Allen is always a pick.
He is.
I always try to get because that's a good 13, 14 points a game right there. Yeah, man.
And so I love Trey. I'm not gonna say I love Trey Lance because I like Fields more. I wouldn't hate on Trey Lance, but that Mac Jones talk, it gotta leave. I'm not rocking with it at all. I feel like there's 3 quarterbacks that are. You've heard all the John Beck rumors?
Oh yeah.
And so John Beck is working with. He's working with Fields. He's working with Lance. He's working with Zach Wilson. And so I think those are the 3 quarterbacks that we are looking at. And obviously, I think Wilson's going to go to the Jets. So I think it comes down to Lance and Wilson.
But you know,
Lance and Fields.
Like if Fields is so dope as people say, and like I said, I think he's dope as well. Why wouldn't the Jets take him? Why would he drop the 3?
I don't know, and I think it's quarterbacks that drop all the time. Why would Watson be the 12th pick? I didn't understand that.
No,
you know, I'm gonna go into a video on my YouTube one time where I talk about the black quarterback and how they're evaluated, right? But I saw Trubisky and Watson play in college. I didn't see a question on who I would take. So your question is very valid, but I just think this is my opinion. I think if Fields was white, he would not be dropping.
No, I agree. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly because, like,
there wouldn't be the perception.
Like, I watched his pro. I watched Zach Wilson's pro day, right? And he threw like a 2-yard slant, and people were like, "Yo, great throw! Whoa!" I'm like, dude, I can make that. Like, what?
Right.
Like they would now. Like he threw one on his back leg. He launched it now. Like he threw it over the top. I'm like, but you're not gonna do that in the NFL when you had 2 safeties back there. That's gonna get picked.
Right. Like, let me say my piece on why Wilson passed Fields. I don't like any of it because I feel like, for one, look at Wilson's numbers against Power 5 schools, right? Yeah. They're not great. I mean, he didn't even look great against Coastal Carolina, right?
But he did. So, he beat my Tennessee Vols. I gotta admit that.
Okay, you gotta give it to him on that. But for the most part, for one, this year was a COVID year, right? Teams aren't practicing; they're not playing as well.
Yeah.
And another thing is you don't have crowds. So when you talk about Mac Jones throwing for all those yards, it's cool, but I think it's different when the crowd is in there. And I think some of that did affect Fields as far as their practice or preparation. I know there was a game or two he didn't have Olave, where I don't think he would have thrown the picks that he did. He didn't even have he didn't even throw 10 picks in 2 years.
No, he didn't. I just felt like I kind of got like on the downside, like when it came to Fields, is when he couldn't start over from. But I just know like how they are at Georgia. You know, has it been to me, I don't think it's been a black starter since Quincy Carter was the quarterback.
Well, they had one more, but I forgot his name. But I seen him around. I forgot his name.
DJ Shockley, that was him. I mean,
Who?
DJ Shockley.
That's it.
It hasn't been many, but I felt like if he was like legit, I felt like they should have started him over Fromm. But for some reason, they would not give the job to Justin Fields, so he had to go to the Big Ten.
Well, I also think that comes down to recruiting because didn't they have Eason the year before, and then they started Fromm over Eason after they had recruited Eason, who was a 5-star recruit. So you bring in, say what?
He was number 1 in the country.
Yes, and so then they started Fromm over. So I started to think as a coach, if I keep recruiting these guys and starting the guy over the other guy, I'm gonna stop getting quarterbacks. And I can't really look at, to your point, he couldn't start over Fromm, but then Joe Burrow couldn't start over Haskins. Who would you take in the NFL?
Joe Burrow.
Okay, Cam couldn't start over Tebow at Florida, right? Before he got in that trouble. And that's so true. you can go all day about people who didn't do that in college, but when you see Cam play in the league versus Tebow, who you taking?
Listen, Kelly Bryant with Trevor Lawrence for a minute before Trevor Lawrence
Not that long.
I'm like, yo, I mean, Kelly Brown was okay, but he wasn't a Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence didn't lose a game in high school, bro. This dude was
I think Dabo let Kelly Bryant start just so he can get some film to transfer to his next school.
Yeah.
I don't think that was ever a long-term thing. And so guys in college, they play that politics. They got to recruit. It's not the same thing. And I never looked at – for one, it wasn't like Jake Fromm was straight bum. He's in the league even though he's not probably going to do any work. But they did go to, like, the national championship or the playoffs. Like, it's not like he's a scrub.
Yeah,
even though I put that more on Chubb and Sonny Michel than I do on Fromm.
True. But either way, man, I feel like it wouldn't be a bad pick for Lance or Fields. I mean, like when I was – yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be bad either way, but who I would take –
So let me ask you this. You know about the QB Collective, right?
I do.
Okay, so and you know Fields is on the cover of their website.
He is.
So I'm looking at it as a businessman, right?
Yeah.
If I could have this guy who is on the cover of my stuff, who I've trained in some capacity, I don't know how deep the relationship runs, right? But he's been in their camp, so they know who he is. They got him on his cover. They got him on the website cover for a reason. So why would I not pick him if he's in that category? I'm not saying Fields is like a second-round guy. You should pick him because you went to QB Collective. Fields is looked at as a top 5 type of guy, top 10 type of guy. To enhance my business, why wouldn't I take him?
That's a good point. I mean, but also, I heard that Shanahan is known Fields since he was 17.
Absolutely. That's where they worked at the camp together.
Yeah, they worked at the camp. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it would be funny.
To me, it's an indictment on Fields if you don't pick him.
That's true. He'll look at him, dude, you've been knowing me for almost 10 years.
5. He's only, 21, 22?
Yeah, I mean, but he said he's known him longer than that for some. I don't know if Shanahan did some work in Georgia. But, I mean, I like Fields. He reminds me of Cam. But
I'll tell you this, Cam is a bigger, better athlete, but Fields, I think, is a more accurate passer than Cam.
Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say. He's more accurate than Lance. The thing is, Lance, if the pick is Lance, Lance is not gonna throw the ball more than 27 times a game though. Like you know that's the Shanahan way. Like ever since Denver, like Elway didn't throw the ball more than 27 times because he had Terrell Davis.
That's right.
Like y'all got guys that nobody heard of Mostert before the year when he killed the. Like, yo, what he played for 5 different teams.
Well, it's just like when they had Gary Anderson and Mike, whoever they were.
Right.
After Terrell Davis got hurt, they flourished. You know,
so he's like that. Neither one of them going to be asked to like drop like 45 times like Aaron Rodgers. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I feel like whichever one they take, they'll be successful. Now this Mac Jones thing is a smoke screen from heaven because you don't.
This is a question I got for you.
Take a Jimmy Garoppolo, pretty much.
You already get. Question I got for
you. Yeah.
If Mac Jones doesn't go to us, when would he be drafted?
15.
You think New England would take him?
I think New England would take him in a heartbeat.
Okay, so that's already 12 spots. So if New England don't take him, who would take him after that?
I'm trying to think who need a quarterback. Carolina don't need
the Bears. Think the Bears would take him?
Bears are desperate for a quarterback. Shoot, they might jump up and take Lance and Fields. You never know. Listen, Trubisky is out. You know Andy Dalton is not even though he's the starter right now. If they could get a down there on a cheap, trust me, they'll start over Andy Dalton. But he was starting for my Cowboys last year, even though we were horrible. But like I feel like those guys are going to be gone by 15. Lance, Fields, Hurt. Listen, we all know
all the top five. All the top five be gone.
So pretty much the draft starts at 3 with y'all. The draft starts at 3 because New York has Zach Wilson posters all over, like they're taking him. So.
Oh, they do. I haven't been following that through, but I think they're taking him too.
Man, they ready for Zach Wilson. They got headbands. I'm like, Lord, listen. If they pick Justin Fields, I'm going to laugh.
But here's the thing. If I were them, I would pick Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I would.
You ready for Broadway?
More ready for Broadway. Ohio State is a big-time program. Like, you're on the forefront. Like, Zach Wilson's going from Utah to New York. I mean, you got to think, when I look at Fields and Lawrence, and the reason I like both of them better than anybody in this class is because they've had that pressure since they were teenagers, and they're still here. There's a lot of guys that are top high school quarterbacks that fall off in college, you know, and they're still here. They're both going to be probably top 5 to 10 picks. That's what I would roll with. I like resume over spontaneity.
I feel you. I mean, I ain't mad at you, man. Like I said, I love Fields. I just feel like Lance is a better fit. Now, you mentioned my Cowboys. Listen, we need everything under the sun on defense.
I'm going to tell you what y'all need to do, and it sounds bad.
We shouldn't take a corner. I want Parsons out of Penn State. Because it don't matter. It don't matter. Like he's legit. Like defense of end. He can play. He's a beast. But the thing is, let's just say we draft Surtain. If we don't have a pass rush, it don't matter how good he is. Because Lawrence, because they're gonna double team Lawrence, and we don't have nobody on the other side. Your corners can only cover for so long, so it don't matter how good they are. So I feel.
So what do you think about trading down?
Trade them.
You want to stay at 12?
At that.
Or 10. Y'all at 10, right?
I would trade probably with New England. That'd probably be the most I would draft back to, get somebody. Yeah. Because, that's what New England is doing on the low. They say New England calling out in the top 10, trying to crack the 10 so they can pick a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would definitely pick. That would be my pick now. If Kyle Pitts want to drop to 10.
Of course. He ain't dropping to 10. You need to call it pastor about that.
He ain't dropping past 6.